we're back, and the tortoise person has escaped. And it is a wet morning, but it's like an occasionally sunny one. Yeah, I think you're still in like mostly pine forest, so like the shade afforded by the pine trees is kind of spotty.
I would like to proceed back to the Well of Eels, so that we have a central location and also maybe a place of power.
Yeah.
I would think so.
I have the ritual spell, but I would like a place of power anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, oh no, it's okay because we'll have to wait until nighttime anyway. There's a move that I have that I'd really like to try, and it kind of involves like some time and camp, but theoretically there's no reason to like there's no point calling Atsis until nighttime, so we kind of have to wait out the day, won't we?
Oh yeah, because Atsis can't go in.
Because he won't. Yeah, he won't during the day.
Could
We need to wait for Atsis.
Proceed back to town and get that coffin without returning to town?
You could make a dangerous expedition back to Beta.
And then do a thing with Atsis, whether or not it happens, and then we're back at town.
You are back at town, yeah.
Yes, okay, cool. Shall we do that then?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
So yeah. So
I will lead the dangerous expedition because I have my mind map.
Excellent.
Intelligence.
Yep. And you've been there before, so intelligence with a bonus +1.
Oh yeah, map doesn't give it plus; it gives intelligence, right?
It gives you your intelligence bonus. Yeah.
I actually can't do the move that I have yet anyway because I do not have the required materials.
Ah.
We go. 11.
So yeah, you make it back to town without trouble.
Yes.
You pass by the like the withering chitin bodies. And yeah, by the time you get back in town, the rain has kind of cleared up a bit, but like it's followed by like a chilly wind. And so like like all the dampness kind of like sticks to you and chills you kind of harshly. But yeah.
So I think we will ask around for wherever this coffin is.
Yeah.
Oh, I would know.
Oh, you know? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, because I was part of that group.
Yeah, it's stored in one of the buildings. Yeah, it's did we say it was a very ornate coffin or a very simple one?
I don't remember actually.
I think it's probably relatively simple, but it's fine brass on the or even gold on the like handles and things, and it's like very nicely polished wood, but it's not like ornate.
Not gaudy.
Yeah, it's not gaudy.
Yeah, I remember which building it was stored in, so I take us there.
And yeah,
I think we should probably take it to the edge of town just so he doesn't have to come into town. In case people got upset about that.
That's very wise.
And yes, he if you open the coffin, he's dressed in like very fine military like dress uniform, red, like big red coat, big red jacket, probably like navy blue like trousers or black trousers even, and yeah, lots of like gold braid and fringed pauldrons and medals everywhere, but yeah, no head. So
is anything in here magic-y?
No, this is just a body.
I would like to
it's kind of like withered and preserved in a kind of like bog body way.
I'm wondering if this is actually Atsis, and so I would like to feel around for because I've met Atsis. I shook his hand. I know Atsis. I shared a brain thing with him.
So you take. So can you mark on the map where you've taken the body to for me?
So we've come back in from the east.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. Sounds good. Yeah.
That looks like a path that we would have come and gone from.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Although we might accidentally burn down the carpenter.
We'll see.
Yeah, I would like to try and figure out if this is the real Axis.
Sure. That sounds like... It sounds like spouting lore more than discerning realities.
Really? Okay.
Right? Like, it's not... I know this thing, not what's going on around me.
But if you discern realities, then... Wait, no.
You can help with the spout lore.
I mean, here's the thing. If you want it to be spout lore, you can just... Like, you can...
I would like to discern realities, but as a separate move, because I want to use my special question.
Yeah. Or you can change the like description, right? The description that you're telling me, like where you're like looking at this body and like consulting your knowledge, right?
No, I like consulting my knowledge.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, spout lore. Heck. So yeah. And you wanted to know if this is... So you want to know if this is Atsis...
This is, like, if this is the proper Axis, or if someone's, like, subbed in a body double for him when he died.
This is not a body double. This is the body that you have shaken the hand of.
Whoa.
But, like, long withered.
Weird.
How old is it?
It's hard to tell because of the preservation.
Okay.
But, like, yeah. So yeah, you've shaken the hand of the person this body belongs to.
Is he elven or was he human?
Atsis is human.
But he was large. Not Dungeons and Dragons large, like he was a big man.
He was, yeah.
I would like to discern realities.
Yeah, let's do it. What does that look like?
Good look at this. Because the only other time that I've seen this body was like when everything was going very bad in the battlegrounds and we were being attacked and stuff. So I think I start by like imitating Shuri. Like, you know, I watch what Shuri is doing and like do the same things like after her.
That's so interesting because it's that thing of like in mimicking, you just have to like you have to focus on ignoring what your eyes are telling you.
Yeah, which I think is like part of the reason that like Bao is finding it so interesting to do. Like she's fascinated by the ways that Shuri is observing the body, and so like does a lot of the same things. But then once sort of Shuri stops looking at the body and like, you know, considers or whatever, Bao also like leans in and just like puts her ear to the chest of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I would like to discern realities.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yes. I discern many realities.
Ask questions, friend.
Okay. Well, the main question that I really want to know is my special question.
Yeah.
What do the spirits whisper here?
Interesting. The spirits.
Uh-huh. Particularly curious to know whether there is any spirit whispers of this entity.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, if there are any other spirits whispering about it, that's also good.
Yeah, no, this is a great question because it makes me think hard. I think the spirits whisper, there are some spirits who are playing a brass band for fun because they think it's funny. Like given the context.
Yep.
I think another spirit is like one spirit, I think, says Jigsaw, and then like makes a like throwing many things in the air, like, you know, like throwing a deck of cards in the air or something. And then I think makes a sound of like I think Jigsaw, ploof, clank, 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 castle. And then like and like points, right? Jigsaw points at the body, poof, points, and then when saying clank, 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 castle, like points out into the forest.
I thought you meant Jigsaw like the power tool until a little bit.
I think
it's doing that thing where it's talking in like it as a spirit.
I mean, remember that I'm not like when I say spirits, this isn't like Japanese type fae spirits that we're talking about here. We're talking about like the spirits of dead creatures.
Yeah.
Like that's the sort of stuff that like.
Yeah, of the dead. Yeah, in which case I think all that because all that the spirits of the dead would be able to do is do a similar thing of like pointing towards the body, and being like, and then pointing out into the forest and being like, it's there, it's out there. Would say in a keep, a castle, stones upon stones, a portcullis behind, hidden, locked away. A dungeon. For safekeeping.
Do I get a sense of whether, like, do I think that they're talking about Atsis? Are they saying Atsis is somewhere else? Do I get a sense of what they're referring to?
They're kind of suggesting that like the body, or maybe the head, or
yeah. Missing bit, maybe. Okay. Yeah, so I sort of like lift my head off of the chest of this thing, and I say, something about it is missing. It's maybe the head, maybe it's the spirit, maybe it's the... But whatever it is, I think it's in a castle or a fort, somewhere in the forest.
Okay.
But then I sort of like shrug and I like say to Churi, but that's not what you're doing anyway.
It's related. It could be the answer to his problems.
True. Maybe he's looking for his castle. Yeah. Or his head in a castle.
Or his princess in a castle. Where did this coffin come from? Where did you find it?
In the place with all the bones, there was a carriage and a lot of dead soldiers. And the soldiers had been taking the carriage with the body in it from one place to another, and then they got attacked on the way, and there was a big fight, and they all got murdered. And I think the head got taken, but not in the fight. The head was already taken. But the carriage sunk into the mud, and a flag too.
Okay, because we found Atsis nearby the bone zone. He was hanging out there, being sad. So I wonder if that's related.
When we found the body, one of my friends, she wanted to burn the body, and she started to burn the body, and then there was like a screaming noise from far away, but not really far away, just a bit far away. And so we stopped burning the body. And I think it was Atsis screaming.
Probably.
Seems like
What's
it
with
makes
people
sense.
trying to burn him? Like, because when I met him, we were in a shed full of wood, and this little gnome was like, set the wood on fire.
I just sort of like look sidelong at Niabi, and I'm like, I don't know, some people like to burn stuff. It's cool.
So
might
that was
explain why he
and
turns
all
to
of this.
ash.
All
Pardon?
the skeleton.
Pardon, Sketch?
What did Sarah say?
That might explain why, when the spirit's not meant to be out, he turns to ash.
Oh, maybe like there's a curse where people always want to set him on fire.
Yeah. Something like that.
Ash is laughing a lot. And all the skeletons, a lot of the skeletons at the riverbed, when I went there, were full of magic stones that made them alive again. And I wonder if those were in them when Atsis was near them, or like when they were originally there, or if somebody came along and put those stones.
Oh, you mean the lightning stones? No, that's something else. But maybe it's related. There was also these birds there, but I haven't seen them again since then. But there were these birds there, and they're like made of metal, and they also had like lightning powers, I think.
Arnold wanted to know about lightning.
That's true. Well, there was this bridge. Did you see the lightning bridge? There was this bridge that made lightning when you go onto it, except then we broke it and it fell into a chasm. But then it came out of the chasm, or apparently.
Well,
Yeah, it nearly obliterated me and my game. All right, so shall we try and contact Atsis then and see what his jam is?
Maybe Atsis can answer some of these questions.
All right, so I have Atsis's body here, but it's dead. But I would like to call across space.
Yeah, you would.
To Atsis with my connection to him.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we have waited for nighttime.
I'm assuming that also.
Cool.
Or at least dusk, so it's kind of shady in the trees.
Yeah. Y'all are plenty shady anyway.
But how is this horrifying? I think that ash from around her visor, like, calls out to the thing. Like, so her face disintegrates. Doesn't stretch out like it did last time, but it just crumbles. Yeah. The bronze plate is like hanging there in the front of her face, but the rest of it's gone and blown off into the wind.
Great. What's your 7 to 9 choices?
Keep losing my splintering wheel tab. I think again I'm going to take the -1 to intelligence. No, I think it has. It won't last long, and it has unforeseen side effects. Actually, no. It affects much more or much less than I want. So it won't last long, and it affects much more or much less. So maybe lots of things come.
Interesting.
Or just the head.
Well, the last time I did this, I affected more than I wanted, and the bridge pulled itself into the sky and rained on me. So
I think that everyone else sees Turi crumble into ash and the bronze plate clatters to the ground with the stone. And I think Turi, you find yourself standing in I think this is it's an elevator, right? Like it's a broken, like half, like mostly closed, like the door is like half jammed and it's between floors, but you're in an elevator. Whether or not Turi would recognize that. with Atsis. And you look down and you realize that like you're some kind of like weird you realize like you're like, oh, I'm like made up of like the crumbling ash, right? Like you can see that. And he like looks at you and is like and is like here or there?
It's up to you ultimately, but I think my friends would have some questions for you that I might not think of.
He's like,
Also, in like where we are, when we see this happen, I like look at the pile on the ground, and then I say to the other two cheerfully, "Don't worry, she's not dead. I'd know."
Our friend seems to have a similar problem to Axis.
I think as you say that, the ash reforms into Atsis.
Yeah, and I just sort of like gesture and like say to Sketch, yeah, you're right.
He had he is played by Sir Patrick Stewart. He has a heavy gold crown upon his head, like quite bulky. He is wearing a simple linen suit, and but like with big heavy boots. And from your perspective, Churi, the elevator is now like back where you were, and you're like standing beside him. But for everyone else, it's just Atsis made out of Churi's ashes.
I can talk to him still, though.
Yeah, you just can't talk to your friends.
Huh.
I'll let them go first.
I think I just say like, Churi, why do you look like that? That's not the same.
It's both of us.
Yeah,
do we hear that?
I think he says that. Yeah.
Oh! I can't do that. That's clever.
And yeah, I think he says, do what precisely?
Look like someone and also like know the things that they know.
He's like, it's more. He says, it's more complicated than that. I'm sure.
Okay. I mean, you're very important, so that makes sense.
To Sketch.
I think he says this is very difficult.
Does Sketch or Niavi have any pressing questions for him? Do they want to know about him or his past? What's he doing? Otherwise, I'll just ask mine.
I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't go first because like some other people know some stuff already about.
No. If you've got a question, ask it.
I don't want to like double up on stuff.
No. I'll ask questions because like
I think you've probably heard everything that we know
you've
anyway
heard most of the stuff
at this point.
know.
So
yeah.
I ask him what Shovix asked him to do.
Yeah, I think he
and that's what I was going to ask him.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Yeah, he's like once I took the land between I took this land and I turned it into something great. I can only assume that is my task again.
Oh, that's complicated. Now I see why someone else can't just do it.
He's like, I wish that they could.
You got anything, Niavi?
Can we assist you?
He's like,
I can't think of anything at this particular point in time.
I thought you might have something Ash related, considering what Endrin told you.
In response to like Sketch's question of like, can we assist you? He's like, you certainly can. Now rid me of this form. Later, you may later when I am as I should be, you may serve me.
Do you know who took your head?
He's like, I don't understand.
Can I make him point, or from inside him, like, so from his perspective, I point at the coffin, showing that somebody has decapitated him. Whether that would solve his problem.
He's like, my uniform, my body,
Yes.
but where is my crown?
It appears somebody took the top part of you elsewhere.
He's like, it does look rather silly without the crown, doesn't it?
Is it a problem?
He says, I'm not sure. He's like, the crown adds some sense of regality, but at the same time, he like looks down at himself, like wearing the crown, is like, one looks silly without the other.
If we find the crown and the head, can you tell? Would it help, do you think, to bring them to wherever you currently rest between the days?
He's like, I'm not entirely sure how these things work. You don't suddenly get a manual.
Would you impart that knowledge to us anyway? So, do you have somewhere where you go when the sun is up, so that we can bring your bits to there to make the ritual, to maybe make things easier?
I think he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I hadn't realized that anyone was looking. I can meet you again at the warehouse if that's helpful."
Do you have a castle in the forest?
He says, I once had a mighty palace, great and powerful, almost to rival that of elves. He says, but to find it in this mess.
The spirits around here seem to know where it is. We could probably find it.
He's like, I had been looking for it, just to take it in once more. Although I imagine it's nothing of its former glory.
Maybe that's a place to meet, though.
If I could find it, certainly.
Well, sorry, out of character, the spirits said that the head was in the castle.
True, they did also seem to think that the head was in the castle. That's a very good point. I think I mentioned that too. I'm like, also maybe your head is there, or the crown, or the top of you.
Yeah, and he's like, I see that. That makes as much sense as anything.
How do you have two bodies at once?
He's like, I don't entirely understand how this works.
Do you remember what?
Are you made of mushrooms?
He's like, I am absolutely certain I am not.
Okay. Oh well, there goes that theory.
Do you remember who attacked your procession near the river?
Attacked our procession?
There's
No. He was dead by then. He was dead. He was in the coffin.
Oh yeah.
It was like, he's like, my funeral procession?
Mhm.
would have.
He got attacked.
He's like, how uncouth.
Yes.
Do you know who might have wanted to attack your procession?
Yeah, and he looks to Niabi and is like, would want to attack my procession. I mean, the gully folks have always hated the gully folks have always hated have always hated my work and my family for all the good that we've brought to this land. The gully folks felt that every inch of progress was an insult, but to attack my funeral procession, that seems galling even for them. And this was as far as I can tell many hundreds or thousands of years ago. He looks down at he looks down at Bader and looks across at Bader and is like, this is no town that ever existed in my time.
Interesting. I'm glad that we can contact him for future, so when we can sort this out. I'm very glad that we can do that. And he doesn't know what Shobi wants him to do?
I mean, he doesn't have direct instructions. He has an assumption.
And previously, did he I guess I can talk to him. Did you conquer in the name of Avio, or just for its own sake?
I think he says, I was a pious man and I honored all. I was a pious man and I honored all 8 wardens.
Huh. Yeah, I think I just outright say, I do this. There's only 7. Everyone says there's 7.
I think, given the limitations of the spell, he reforms, into Turi, whose skin is now lined with cracks and lined with cracks, as if she were a sculpture that had aged in the weather, and in those cracks is soot.
That actually really suits my traits.
Yep. Turi, I'm going to give you a new move in between sessions.
Exciting.
Awesome. So we've learnt so much. So now we have to ask the spirits to help us find the castle. Did I have a sense for where the elevator was? Very far away?
There were... it was in a fancy place with marble-tiled floors and bookshelves, though most of the books were long destroyed. And I think the walls were glass, like the outside walls to the outside of the building, but you couldn't see past that.
Was there a singing noise?
No.
Maybe because it was nighttime. Okay, cool.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the session then, right? I think we returned to town, the full 20 feet that it is, more or less safely.
You take the coffin back.
You take the coffin back. We restore all lost hit points and any spells that we need to. And then we answer the end of session questions, which are somewhere on this document. End of session. Then look at your alignment. If you fulfilled that alignment at least once this session, mark XP.
Did I discover something about a magical mystery?
Yes, I would say that Atsis is definitely a magical mystery.
Okay.
Even Atsis feels he is a magical mystery.
Yeah, I like the idea that he's like, I don't understand.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know
get
how
a-
I have two bodies.
You
Yeah.
don't get a manual, right? Like,
Yeah, that was a great line. I really like that a lot. Because, like, of course you don't. If he knew what was going on, he probably would have solved it by now. Like, he's had thousands of years, and he's an emperor. He's probably a pretty good problem solver. But yeah, that's great. Did I show someone the wisdom I possess? This is such a weird alignment for me. But then all of the alignment choices were weird for me. So
I'm thinking about like making it so that you can pick your alignment from a larger list.
I might need, yeah. If you do that, I would be keen.
Mhm.
But I think, okay. I don't know if it counts. Because I don't know if it was wisdom or not. But I was doing my best to show the Corvid lady the wisdom that I possessed.
I think that counts.
Okay.
You should
Some
know
of my
what.
wisdom is
So, here's the question:
silly.
like the thing is, show someone the wisdom you possess can be very little,
That is true.
right? You can be like, I possess
True.
very little wisdom. Here, let me show you.
I guess so. I think I tried to anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
avoid detection or infiltrate a location.
You definitely avoided detection when you
Okay,
snuck
yeah.
Yes,
the
you did.
I snuck
paper and
the-
read about
the
it.
Letter, yeah. I forgot
Yep, you
about
did that.
I was gonna say I would not let Tortoise Man like tell me stuff about.
Mm.
I was avoiding detection. But,
But yeah, you definitely were like sneakily finding out things.
that was
Infiltrated an envelope.
I don't think I managed to spread a dangerous new idea. So
Oh,
I
that
don't
is
think
a
I
good
made that one. I know, right?
That's
Spread a
a
dangerous
really
new idea
good
to
one.
yourself.
Yeah. Spread a
Because you
dangerous
learnt
new
a dangerous new idea, implying that you incinerated someone.
That's true.
Or several someones, or many someones. Unclear.
I think, given how, because the point of your character is to not know their past,
Yes.
I think spreading a dangerous idea to yourself
Counts.
is a place to start.
Oh, actually, also, I would say, and I don't know if this is as a direct result of your actions, but it's a result of you asking Dendrus about it. You definitely spread a dangerous idea to me because you spread the idea that perhaps you're not supposed to not be able to remember your past. Like, perhaps that is a strange
Yeah.
thing. Because
Right,
that had
yeah.
not, like, occurred to me before. And hearing, like, the conversation was very strange and, like, a bit unsettling. So I don't know. That's kind of stretching it. But I certainly feel like that was, yeah.
So we are in agreement that you get to mark XP. Well
There
done.
you go. We, the group, have voted.
Next question.
Next question is, did we overcome a notable monster or enemy? I don't think so.
No.
Did we loot a memorable treasure? Nope. That's okay.
Oh, no, we didn't loot anything. No.
Did we discover something new and fantastic?
Yes.
Yes.
Mark an XP. Did we overcome a threat to Beta or fill any of its people?
Not really.
No.
I feel. I told Marinol that she can learn things and trade with Beta.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna get you that one.
Oh, I just totally had a thought though. Isn't there in the options for like expansion,
Mm-hmm.
This won't give us the XP, but I just want to check it because I just had the thought and I want to say it. Where's it gone?
One of the things that I will encourage people, I should try and encourage people with like searching for rumors is you can be like, I want to find a rumor about a threat or need that needs, like, I want to find a quest, or I want to find a rumor about riches, right? Like that's a thing you can do to like try and make sure that you're gonna hit. You've got a better chance of hitting those. So the other question is, if you returned, did you return to town bearing riches, great riches?
No.
No, that's okay. Did you return to town broken, battered, and in need of care?
No.
Okay, so like fairly like solid neutral today, which is good. It's better than like losing. So that is all good. What was the thing you're looking for, Em?
I'm wondering, would Dendron, be an oracle for the purposes of having an oracle in town?
Yes.
So if we could ask Dendron to come to town or be nearby, we could take that improvement. Yep. And then the spirits could be petitioned.
You would need
and
to
then later we could have a temple where the wardens could be petitioned.
Yep. You would need to complete a clock as well to make the space for him to do oracling. But yes.
That's a pretty cool idea, though.
Yep. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the session. What a great adventure that was. That was such a good like.
We learned things.
Such a good learning adventure. And like gentle encounters, which I really liked. So let's wrap up with some shout outs. We'll do our regular shout outs and also a non-capitalist shout out. Emily, are you okay to go first?
Damn it, I was going to be thinking about my non-capitalist shout out this whole time and then I didn't, but I will
I have mine.
I will wing it. Okay, yeah.
Mine. So I'll start.
Cammy, you can start.
So I'm Cammy. I'm Splidget Moose on everything that I've been on. If I'm not on a thing, maybe tell me to be there if it's cool. Mostly I follow Ash around the internet since we got the internet back in whenever. Yeah. Wisely wants some of my chips. This is Wisely. My non-capitalist shout out.
You muted yourself, Cam.
Being silent, I reckon.
It is forbidden knowledge.
Pressed space on the window and it just went woof and away from me. So it's from the 36. It's from the 36 sermons of Vivek. It's sermon 4, paragraph somewhere in the middle, and it says, Vivek knew that to retain his divinity that he must make a strong argument against luck. He said, "Is it not the sudden revelation of corresponding conditions and disparate elements that gel at the moment of the coincidence, one of the prerequisites to being in fact coincidental? Synchronicity comes out of repeated coincidences at the lowest level. Further examination shows it is the utter power of the sheer number of coincidences that leads one to the idea that synchronicity is guided by something more than chance. Therefore, synchronicity ends up invalidating the concept of the coincidental, even though there are symptomatic signs that bring it to the surface."
Great.
Sure.
In context, this is someone saying, "You're not a god, you're just a series of coincidences."
I like that.
I am.
All right.
I'm not a god,
Cool.
I'm just a series of coincidences.
Saying, "Yes, I am."
Sarah, do you want to do shout outs?
Sure. I'm Sarah. I'm PH Dancer's Teapot on a bunch of places. I do storytelling stuff, sometimes online, and keep videos of it. I did some of that last night, your time, for Solstice. And it was Solstice, and there'll be a video of it soon. And also sing and write lyrics for Feathers, Wood and String, and which next weekend has a music video coming out. So you can come watch that with me. I would like to recommend reading stuff to people you care about, whether it's like out of a book that you really like or something you've written yourself, just to share, because it makes for nice moments.
Excellent. All right, Emily, how you going?
I've got something. I think I'm just gonna take to like reading people bits of poetry that I find on the internet, because that seems good. Hi, I'm Emily. I am a filmmaker and an artist. You can find me on Twitter at blackwallsays. You can also commission me to make art there if you would like. I am currently taking commissions. I do art of role-playing game characters and also, real life people if you want portraits. I do art for games. I do maps for role-playing game type stuff as well. I also have a Patreon, patreon.com/blackwall, and you can support me there if you like. I post film behind the scenes stuff. I post my sketches, and I post dungeon maps. And my non-capitalist thing is going to be this little snippet of poetry that I read on Tumblr the other day. It is by a user called A Demented Madonna. I love the usernames of people on Tumblr. They're always very extra. But I think this is a particularly, I liked it. Go to bed early and dream of better things. Fill your stomach with sweet fruits and honey. Clean your body with sea salt and brush your hair every night. Let the moss grow out of the places you were broken. Do not show them how vile you are. Wait for the oblivion to take over you. Someday, the star that gave us birth will swallow us whole, but not in our lifetime. How tragic. Take good care.
Awesome. And finally, Viv.
So I am, as I mentioned before, a streamer, a dreamer, a sushi eater. I am Vandalized on Twitch. I'm Vandalized TV on Instagram and Twitter. I mostly stream games. Occasionally I'll do IRL stuff where I talk about mental health. And I tend to just be around the place. I like supporting people. I like inspiring people. That's kind of what I like doing. For my non-capitalist piece, I'm also going to read some poetry, and it is a piece of poetry that it's got to be one of my favorite poems. It's by Don McKee, and it's called The Lesson of the Moth. I was talking to a moth the other evening. He was trying to break into an electric light bulb and fry himself on the wires. Why do you fellows pull this stunt? I asked him. Because it is the conventional thing for moths. Or why, if that had been an uncovered candle instead of an electric light bulb, you would now be a small, unsightly cinder. Have you no sense? Plenty of it, he answered. But at times we get tired of using it. We get bored with the routine and crave beauty and excitement. Fire is beautiful, and we know that if we get too close, it will kill us. But what does that matter? It is better to be happy for a moment and be burned up with beauty than to live a long time and be bored all the while. So we wad up all our life into one little roll, and then we shoot the roll. That is what life is for. It is better to be part of beauty for one instant and then cease to exist than to exist forever and never be a part of beauty. Our attitude toward life is come easy, go easy. We are like human beings used to be before they became too civilized to enjoy themselves. And before I could argue him out of his philosophy, he went and immolated himself on a patent cigar lighter. I do not agree with him, myself. I would rather have half the happiness and twice the longevity. But at the same time, I wish there was something I wanted as badly as he wanted to fry himself.
That is so good.
That's excellent. Awesome. I have
You have to step up.
Yeah.
I've been Ash. I've been your GM and your host. And you can find me all over at Acegiac, ACEGIAK, on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr, and Patreon if you want to support my ongoing game design work where I make lots of games. I'm like, I'll start a channel where I can playtest the games that I make, and then I was like, oh no, I make games faster than I can playtest them. There's a big problem I have. But if you want to see a playtest of a game happening tomorrow, tune back in a couple of hours before this one started. I will tweet about it at Acegiac on Twitter. Or you can hit the follow button up in the corner there. If you haven't already hit it, we play a bunch of role-playing games and also like roguelikes and like management sims and things. We like finding out what the story is rather than playing through the original, like one that's been written for us. We like to find out along the way. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a really fun time. And we will see you later. Bye-bye.